We now do come to a very special part of this ceremony. The graduation address gives us the opportunity to hear from a distinguished member of our alumni community. We're very fortunate today that the address will be delivered by Mr. Ian Silk. Ian is the Chief Executive of Australian Super, the largest and fastest growing superannuation fund in Australia. Australian Super has more than 2.2 million members, over 220,000 contributing businesses, and more than $120 billion in assets. Australian Super is a multi-industry fund with membership spanning most industries. Mr. Silk is also Chair of the Australian Council of Superannuation Investors, a Director of Industry Super Australia, a member of the Australian Government's Financial Literacy Board, and a Director of Basketball Australia. He holds a Bachelor of Economics, a Diploma of Financial Services, Financial Planning, and a Postgraduate Diploma in Labour Relations Law. I now have much pleasure in inviting my friend, Mr. Ian Silk, to deliver the graduation address.
My friend Chancellor Simon McKeon, Vice-Chancellor Professor David Kopoloff, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, graduates. Good evening. As a graduate of Monash University, I am truly delighted to share this evening with you and to accept the invitation to give this address this evening. Firstly, I want to congratulate those people who've just received their qualifications on an outstanding personal achievement in graduating from this fantastic university. If you're like me, you'll look back on this evening and the attainment of a university degree or postgraduate qualification from Monash University as one of the most momentous days in your life. It will prove to be an important foundation that you've established, which you'll build upon as you develop your career and you progress through your life. Whilst it's your name on your qualification, there have, of course, been many people who have helped to get you to this point. Your lecturers, your tutors, your family, your friends, your fellow students, and I'm sure you recognise their critical contribution to your academic success. But be in no doubt that it is your name on your qualification for very good reason. You have participated in the lectures and tutorials, you have done the hundreds of hours of study, and you have sat and passed the exams. This is your qualification, and the combination of your readiness to work hard and your intellect have combined to allow you to become a graduate or postgraduate of this great university. Aside from the sense of pride and fulfilment I hope you feel this evening, I hope your life at Monash has been enriched by the experiences and relationships you've developed here. In my case, more than 30 years after I graduated with a Monash degree, many of my closest friends remain people I met and studied with here. A group of us go on a hike each year. Last year we did the Rootburn Track on the South Island of New Zealand, and we stayed in a hut and happened upon another group who had met and studied at Monash University and did similar hikes around the world. There is a real sense of community and belonging amongst graduates of Monash. I've met Monash alumni all over the world, in London, Shanghai, Boston, even in Havana, Cuba, late last year. The Monash connection forges a bond of shared experience that can play out in lifelong friendships, and as well, I'm sure that you will find that it will assist you in your career. So you now have your degree or other qualification. So what now? Your education here at Monash has enabled you to learn a lot about the world and how it works. Hopefully it has also enabled you to develop your critical thinking, problem solving, creativity and curiosity, as well as your communication skills. In career terms, these are all foundation points. But your way in the workforce starts from here, or at least the next major step in your career starts from here. What will the workforce of the future that you're about to enter look like? Of course, it won't provide the same opportunities that previous generations had, but this shouldn't be of any concern because their opportunities were, of course, different to the opportunities that their parents had. The world is a very rapidly evolving place, and whilst the pace of change is more rapid than before, we have been evolving since time began. The Industrial Revolution in the 1800s was said to herald massive loss of jobs as factories were established and machines did the work previously performed by people. Of course, the Industrial Revolution actually generated a new era of economic prosperity for huge numbers of people right across the world. Society, our economy, and the workforce continues to evolve. For example, the emerging era of machine learning and artificial intelligence will continue to see some jobs lost permanently. For example, in my industry, the financial services industry, we're seeing some people receive financial advice not from a person, but from a machine. This is not something you should fear. You should embrace these changes because they represent a terrific opportunity for you to share in the potential in these sorts of changes for your career and your life. To fully prepare yourself for the foreseeable changes and the unforeseeable changes, it is important that you have a mindset that your qualification today will help prepare you for the future, but that you should continue to seek to develop your skills and experience. You will need to adapt as you and your career adapt. Only 6% of adults in the workforce today are in occupations they envisaged when they began in the workforce. Just 6%. Now, it's the conventional thing in addresses such as this for the person who has the honour to present these sort of addresses to provide sage life advice. I'm not going to do that, but I thought I would share with you 4 lessons that I've learned or observed through my career. The first is to take opportunities that present themselves and to make opportunities happen. If you're offered an opportunity, whether at work or in a community group or in some other context, look at it as just that, an opportunity. An opportunity to develop new skills, obtain new experience, work with new people, to be better equipped for further opportunities. And if you see an opportunity that perhaps others haven't, then speak up and identify it and propose how you might be able to help. This issue of accepting and pursuing opportunities is particularly relevant for women. It is the case that on average, men are more likely to judge themselves ready for appointment to a role than women. And it's important that women have the self-confidence to realise the obvious, and that is that they are just as talented as men, and they should be expecting not just to have the same opportunities as men, but to take those opportunities. The second matter is even more basic. and that is most successful people work hard. This isn't to say that you should work ridiculous hours or sacrifice all personal enjoyment in pursuit of your career, but few people are successful in any field of endeavour, sports, the arts, professions or any other career, without a strong work ethic. The ex-US President Thomas Jefferson was said to have commented, "The harder I work, the luckier I get." Which is to say, of course, that hard work is usually a precondition for success in any field of endeavour. Just a personal aside here, whilst I'm very proud of being a member of the alumni of this university, I was far from a brilliant scholar. I had some of the best times of my life at the university and at the Notting Hill Hotel, and perhaps as a result, I was a relatively modest scholar. However, the foundational degree I earned at Monash gave me the opportunity to pursue a terrific career, and throughout that career, I've become increasingly aware that success in life is due in part to innate ability, but to other matters as well, and hard work is chief amongst those. Thirdly, it's important to recognise that in your life and career, you are going to encounter some bumps in the road. I would urge you to develop a resilience and a capacity for perseverance so that you can recognise a disappointment as simply a setback and maybe even a learning experience before you regroup and move on. My final point is that all of us in this wonderful hall have received a gift of a great education. With that privilege comes opportunity, if not the responsibility, to make a broader contribution to the community. You have the skills and the knowledge that can help those not as fortunate to have the same educational opportunities. This might be in public service, in community groups, establishing companies that create wealth and employment for others. You're all better people, and certainly better educated people, than when you entered the gates of Monash University at the start of your studies. Very best wishes for a terrific career and wonderful life with your new Monash University qualification. Thank you.